Alright, this is a tutorial on how to play contrabass clarinet. Okay, chances are your case is gonna be tucked in a corner of the band room, lost and forgotten, and it'll probably be upright like this. So in order to take it out, you'll probably need to brace the top with your hand and grab the handle, and then like slowly tilt it, and then you pull it out gently. And then if you want to move it out, you just give it a bear hug, and just like that. And then if you want to set it on the ground, put it like this, and then gently put it on the floor. Make sure that these locking hooks are facing upwards, otherwise your case is going to be upside down. Alright, once your case is on the floor, just going to want to take each one of these off. And open her up. There should be the big long boy, the bell, the neck, and then in this little pocket over here, the mouthpiece and where you're going to put your reeds. The first two pieces you're going to want to assemble first are the mouthpiece and the neck. So just take the mouthpiece cap off and the ligature off, set those aside, and then hold the mouthpiece like this, and you're going to want to take the neck and hold it like this. You're not going to want to hold it above here because there's a chance it could like snap, and you don't want that. So hold it here, and then just gently twist these two pieces together. If it doesn't go in easily, put some cork grease, and then do your best to center the tip of this mouthpiece with the front of the neck, because that's going to be very important when you're playing. And then once you do that, I like to put a small piece of tape here so I know where the center of the neck is, so I don't have to do it every single time. Alright, reeds. These are gonna be very important for playing this instrument because a good reed is gonna let you play, a bad reed is just not going to. So I've done a bunch of experimenting over the years, trying different types of reeds. Mostly just berry sax reeds because contra reeds are hella expensive and I don't want to pay that much for like one reed that is gonna start breaking down over time. So the first reed I had was a Lavaz medium. It was a piece of garbage, honestly, so don't use it because I don't know, it just sucks. So the next one I tried was these Rico Royal ones. These are all berry sax reeds because that's just what my band director had on hand. I got strength 3 Rico Royal blue box berry sax reeds, and they worked okay. Sometimes they'll just like dry up and not play, which isn't great. So you're gonna have to wet these a lot before you put it on the mouthpiece, like way more than you would on like a clarinet reed. Just because this is a bigger piece of wood, you gotta hydrate it a little bit longer with a little bit more spit or water if you don't like slobbering all over your reed. That's what I do, I don't know. And then I moved on to the Van Doren Berry Sax Strength 3, and I find it a little bit stiff. So I would probably recommend going down to a 2.5 Van Doren instead, and that would probably be ideal just because this instrument is already very resistant. So you're gonna want like a slightly less resistant reed, so 2.5. I wouldn't go 2 or below because if you're playing really loud or something, it's gonna close up, and it's also gonna like make a like a pitchless flapping noise if you're playing all these bottom notes. So yeah, use a 2.5 Van but then I got tired of using cane reeds, so I got a Leger plastic reed. It seems to work good. The 2.5 is a little bit soft, but I can kind of compensate by placing the reed slightly above the tip of the mouthpiece. And this is an actual contrabass reed, so it is ideal, I guess. I don't know. It'll be the correct size. It'll actually cover the whole thing, while like with a berry sax mouthpiece, it'll like cover it almost all the way. So you're gonna have to like make it be really picky about where you place it. Anyways, so yeah, take the reed, give it a lick. I like to breathe onto the mouthpiece table so that it sticks better and it seals correctly. So there'll be like a little bit of water on there, and then you just put that on there. And then be like very picky about where you're gonna place your reed, because it's gonna make a big difference. So I like to place it a little bit on top of the tip with this 2.5 Leger. And then just tighten that. Don't tighten it too much, because it could like slowly whoop your reed over time. Alright, so now that you have your mouthpiece assembled and neck, just like gently put it aside for now. It's time to put in the whole thing. So what I like to do is I'm gonna put my hand underneath this middle part with the little ring and just put it there, because there's no keys there. I put my thumb on top, and then for my left hand I'm gonna look for this area right about around this neck, and you wanna basically just like find a place where you're not touching any keys or rods, and you're just gonna put it like that. And then okay, so you're gonna lift it up. Turn this around a little bit so I can show you. You're gonna basically pop a squat and rest it on your thighs, and then you take the bell, and then you kind of just try to reach the end and just put it on. And then if it's not going in, put more cork grease, obviously. And then in the same spot you just put it, you just straighten it up, and then you take your neck plus mouthpiece combo from earlier. From here, you untighten this screw. There should be like a small screw over here. You just hold it by the neck like this, and then you're just gonna gently just twist it into the neck. And then you tighten this screw just until it stops. You don't want to tighten it like death grip, because that's going to strip your screw, and it's bad too. Alright, now that you've got this thing assembled, the way you hold this thing if you want to like move around is you're gonna look for like this stack of 5 keys. Let me get closer. So you see these 5 keys under here? Well, a little bit underneath that, there's gonna be these 2 keys over here, and you're basically just gonna use your left hand and slot it right there so that it's not touching any keys or rods, and you just rest it on your shoulder like this, and now you can just walk around with a long boy, you know? Pretty good. I guess you could do the same thing with your right hand, if you're left-handed or something, and you just hold it like this. It's pretty similar. Alright, this thing doesn't come with a floor peg for some godforsaken reason. So when you're sitting down, right, unless you're really tall, you're just not gonna be able to reach the mouthpiece. So what I like to do is I stand while I'm playing, and then like, here's a problem. Since there's no floor peg, I can't adjust it so it's like higher so that it actually comes to my face. So what I have basically done is I have made a cutout box that is the exact height so that when you place the box, I don't know if you can see this, so let me put this up. Yep, that is there. So I will place it on the box. It's basically just two cardboard boxes shoved into each other. And then now the mouthpiece is actually to my face. So you're gonna have to like do some experimenting. Maybe find a stool that's adjustable. That way you can actually sit when you're playing. But I just stand with this box as how I play. And then you can just like and have fun, you know? Okay, now I'm gonna show you where you put your fingers. So right here on the back, right, there's this little thingy key and then this register key. So you're gonna want to take this side, this like little bony bit on your thumb, and you're gonna slap it right on there onto that big circle, and then now you can just like do this. Now for the front side, got all this mess. So you see these like two big, I don't know, hot dog keys, whatever they're called. And then you got these three buttons right here, 1, 2, 3. So that's just for your three fingers, 1, 2, 3. And then the thumb on the back. So it kind of look like this. And then you got these 4 little pinky keys right here. Your pinky kind of just hangs out above them for now, depending on what key you need to press. And then these 2 keys, you're gonna actually press with like the knuckle of your index finger. So the first knuckle kind of just like hangs out on top here, and then this one will go about like this area of your knuckle is gonna go on this second key. Now for the right hand, I'm gonna have to back up a little bit, or I don't know, I'll just hold it. Oh, that's fine too. So you got these 3 keys. They correspond with your 3 fingers. So 1, 2, 3. And then you got this big old mess of pinky keys. Pinky key can just like hang out depending on what key you need to press. And then on the back, actually, I find that when I put my thumb like underneath the thumb rest, it makes it a little bit uncomfortable to play. So like I gotta like stretch my pinky, and then this E flat key over here is like not good. So what I actually like to do is I take my thumb and I put it like on top of the thumb rest, and that way it feels more natural. Your hand might be slightly different, but this is what's comfortable for me. So don't be afraid to put your thumb on top of the thumb rest, and just like that. Okay, so like if you're reading sheet music and anything, this it reads in treble clef, actually the same way like a regular clarinet or a bass clarinet will read. And like all the fingerings are the same too. So if you know clarinet fingerings, it's literally all the same, except maybe in the Altissimo. I'll show you that later. Also on this particular contra, you're only gonna have the E flat key, so you're not gonna have the trill F sharp or the B or the C. So yeah, unfortunate. Now, to make a contrabass embouchure, it's gonna be pretty similar to a bass clarinet embouchure, but a bit more extreme. So what I like to do is I like to go, and just make that, and then like place it on the mouthpiece like that. You're gonna have to get enough reed into your mouth, because if you don't have enough reed, it's gonna sound kind of wimpy, not gonna lie. So The nice thing about the plastic reed is you can actually see it. Maybe you can't, I don't know. But basically, there's gonna be a point where the reed is gonna touch the like actual mouthpiece, and there's gonna be a small opening where you can like see light through it. So you want to just like look at the reed from the side, and wherever the light stops is where you're gonna put your bottom lip. So you're gonna go like there, and then just like mark it with your thumb or something, and then go that is where your mouth is gonna be. Now, personally, I like having a mouthpiece patch, or in this case, just like a whole crap ton of electrical tape on my mouthpiece, because the vibration is gonna make my teeth not feel good afterwards. So I recommend getting a mouthpiece patch too. Yep. Oh, I forgot to tell you. So if you want to put this thing on the floor or something, maybe you need to go to the bathroom during like band rehearsal or whatever. It's like not a good idea to put this on the floor without like any support, because either I'll show you. This key is going to like smash into the floor, and this thing is like not that heavy, but it's heavy enough to like definitely bend this key if you like lay it directly on it, like on its side or something. And then on this side, on the right hand, these long keys right here, if you put it on this side, it's gonna stick in here, and it's probably gonna bend them, which you don't want. So what I do is either, let me grab this. Now I have like a bass clarinet stand. It's a Hercules. And you would think this is like a bit sketchy, and I did too when I first got it. But you raise it up. Let me show you. Raise this thing all the way up, and then you like clamp it down, and then just like take this, place it on the little foot thingy, and then just like lean it up against here. Try not to like make it lean against these long rods on both sides, and you're not gonna want it to put it in this way, because it's gonna put a weight on the keys, and you don't want that. Now, if you don't have a stand, what I did beforehand was I used my box because it happened to be the same size as the case. And let me show you. I close the case, and then I put the box like, let me change the camera angle, hold up. There we go. So I put the box like this. It just so happened to be the same height as the contra box. So what I do is I like unscrew this neck piece, and then I will make it point to the left, not the right side, and just like set it like that, gently twist it back in. And then I will just like gently lay it here, and then there'll be like a spot. Okay, yeah. So I put it here. You don't want the thumb, you want to put it just far enough so with thumb rest isn't like digging into the case. And then there'll be like this neck strap ring, which is like, I don't know why you would ever play this moving. And then you just set it down here like this, and you're good. Just try not to make it like tilt or anything, or have anyone kick it, because that would be really bad. Now, if you don't have that either, you're gonna have to like completely disassemble it every time. So try to find a way you can like put this thing on the ground safely. Okay, so now that we've gotten all that stuff out the way, let's like actually make some noise with this thing. So as before, to set your embouchure, go and then put it on there and just breathe. Don't put any fingers down and you'll get this. That is your open G. Chances are you're probably not going to sound as full, but that is because you just started. You'll probably sound like or something like that, and that is okay. You'll sound better with practice. Now you're gonna like not want to be tight at all with this embouchure. It's kind of just like just enough to where like you're not moving or anything. You know, you don't want that. You want to move. You just want to like be there and just let your mouth stay there. So if you want to like articulate or anything, I'll go like do 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 do, and you don't want to like I would say like articulate very hard, because that's just gonna like you might squeak. So just be careful with that. And then breath control. So this instrument is very long, so it's gonna take a lot of air to sound good. So what I like to do is every time I go to play this instrument, I like to go and then breathe into the instrument, and that is what helps me get a good sound. Since it is gonna take a lot of air, you're not gonna be able to play notes for very long. So you're just gonna have to like work around with music and figure out ways to phrase it so that you can breathe and not make it sound weird. Like, you don't want that. And the way I would practice this is basically like take a scale or something and then play it for like 8 counts at like 60 BPM or something, so it's like every second you can hold. And then just like every 8 seconds you take a big breath in and then play the next note or something. So you go like and then you kind of just do that until you feel confident in the amount of breath you need. It also helps with your sound. Okay, so now that we can play an open G, we can start going down. So we can start. If you don't know your clarinet fingerings, you can look them up online. So just play clarinet fingerings and it'll be the same on this, right? So open G. Now F sharp, just put the one finger down. And then the F, E, E flat, D, C sharp, C. Oh, so if you want to get like that really fat contra sound, there's gonna be like a sweet spot where it's gonna like really growl essentially. So I could show you, like it's gonna sound like unfocused if you don't hit the sweet spot, but like once you hit the sweet spot, it's gonna like come into focus, kind of like a camera essentially. So I'll try to like demonstrate this. I don't know if you can hear that on camera, but you can hear it's like kind of like that basically. Alright, now that we got like those first left hand notes down. We can keep going. We can keep going. We can keep going. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe I'll back up a little more. So my right hand, right here. So there's this C from earlier. On this one, like my C is very flat and my C sharp. I don't know why, but it might be like that on yours too. I'm not sure, but every instrument is different. Just C sharp and C on my contra is very flat, so you might take note of that. Now B, we put the one ring finger down, and while you're playing this, have like a really open mouth, like before, so that you can push more air through the instrument and make it sound better. B flat, A, G sharp, G, F sharp. I like to use my left pinky most of the time, but you can use your right one too. F, E, and finally E flat. Those are the basement notes I like to call, so like anything below G sharp. You might not even be able to hear the pitch if you're new to this, but like you'll develop your ear so you can actually hear these low notes, because chances are they're not going to be in tune. So if they're not in tune, they'll kind of just like sound like flab. You know, you don't want that. You want like nice, focused, in your face sound. You want that. Right. So now that we've gone all the way down, let's go all the way up. So we got our open G, right? Nothing down. And then we got the G sharp with your knuckle on the side key. A. I like to press both the A key and the G sharp key at the same time, because up here it doesn't open wide enough, so I kind of just like press both keys in order for it to like come into focus. So if I don't press it, like, it'll sound like that. But when I do open it, it'll sound like this. It'll just be a little less stuffy and probably more in tune. Alright, B flat. And then B. This is probably going to be a little bit hard for you because you're not used to it. So I'll be like this. So how I practice going over that break is play that low E and then press that register key in the back. And then when you're holding that note, let go of the register key and try to keep that note steady and don't let it drop back down. And that is essentially how you're gonna voice it so that it's gonna sound, I guess. So like this. Now, I didn't get it all the way, but you kind of just want that note to just stay straight. You kind of don't want it to let it fall. So just do that with every note going up with the register key and then letting go to find that correct voicing. Yeah, let's just keep going. So we started at the B. And then, so actually, since this instrument is so long, sound that you play with the B is going to actually come out from down there. And you're going to hear it differently than when you play like that B flat, which actually all the sound is like coming out from up here. None of it's coming out from here. So it might actually sound different to you, but to like people away from you, it's not going to sound different. So Like when you play that B, it's gonna sound quieter than your B flat, but that's just because the B flat is physically closer to your face. So try not to hold back on the volume on your B flat because it's gonna sound a little wimpy if you don't. So like, and then let's just keep going up. So C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E flat, whatever, E. Now, on my contrabass, this register key doesn't work fully as intended. So like, let me get closer. There will be 2 register keys on this thing. So there's one like right there that should open and close, and then there'll actually be a second one like up there that is activated with the same key. And actually with your like third right hand finger, the ring finger, it will like control the difference between the register key. So if it isn't working as intended, you might get like this, where the wrong register key opens, and it'll sound like very nasally and like airy and stuff. So what I do is anytime I'm playing the middle E, I guess, middle of the staff E, and then I go to any note from E to like E flat, D, C sharp, C, B. I will actually like flip my thumb a little bit after I press the ring finger. So after I press this, like a little bit afterwards, I will like re-flip the register key to reset the register key so it's correct. All contras are gonna have problems just because of how complicated this scaffolding is. It doesn't do it when I go up. It actually switches when I go up, so kind of weird. It only happens when I go down. I don't know if that happens to your register key system, but something might be wrong with it. It's just how it is sometimes, so you might need to get it sent in. I've kind of just dealt with it, I don't know, just cause. And let's keep going up. So I think I stopped at E. F. F sharp. G. G sharp. A. B flat. B. C. Now at this point, the Altissimo is going to be a little bit weird. Now, C sharp is kind of the same. So you can see it's just like as clarinet, 2, 3, 1, 2, plus the register key plus thumb. Now you can also play it like F sharp, except you just take your thumb off, like the low F sharp. It's not gonna sound as good. Since this thing doesn't have a vent key, kind of like a bass clarinet, the way you get above the C sharp is using your throat tone keys, but you just like voice it up, I guess. So here's the C sharp, and then to get the D, you just use the register key, and you get the D. You kind of just squeak it up there. You can use like the clarinet fingering, where it's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. No, 1, 2, 3, 1. Kind of like a bass clarinet. But it doesn't respond very easily. And then to get the Altissimo D sharp / E flat, you use the G sharp key plus nothing else. Actually, no. Use the register key. No. Don't use the register key for the top E flat. And then to get the top E, just the A key basically. And then to get that F, you just finger B flat. That is about the range it goes. Anything higher is gonna have weird fingerings. Yeah. Alright, so if you're in a band setting or something, or you're playing with other people, you're gonna want to be in tune. And how you do that is gonna want a tuner. And what I do is, since my band tunes to F and then B flat, you play your open G because that is concert F, and then you play the C in the middle of the staff. If you can't quite get it yet, just use open G for now. And then try to find a tuner on your phone or something, and try to get it into the green spot or whatever it tells you how to do it. So say I'm like very, very flat, just like ridiculously flat or something. The way I would change that is I gently unscrew the neck, and then I slide it and adjust this so that it becomes shorter, so that it becomes less flat. So every reed is actually going to tune differently. This one I tend to push in a little more than like the cane reeds over back there. So generally I like to get it over here. It will usually get cold if you leave it for like just a minute. It will just go back to like cold room temp, just because it's so big and made of metal. So I will use G, and then the C, which is concert B flat. And if I'm like even more flat, I kind of just push it in all the way. It just depends on your instrument, but you may not need to do that. If it's sharp, like if you're in like a hot room or something, pull it down so that it becomes less sharp. And then if you're like in an orchestra or whatever, they'll usually tune to A, so B is also a pretty good note. Nice and full. So yeah, that is how you play in tune. No, that is how you tune. But just because that note is in tune doesn't mean every other note on this instrument is going to be in tune. So you're going to have to sit in front of a tuner and try to figure out how you're going to manipulate that note with your embouchure and your voicing in order to get it in tune. And that just comes down to like knowing your instrument. Like I've played this thing for like 1.5 years by now, and you know, it's like I know that some notes are really sharp and some notes are really flat, like that C from earlier. Now, if you're in a band, you're probably gonna have to figure out where they're gonna put you, because it's not common to have these around. Typically, you'll be shoved next to either the tubas or like low reed people like bass clarinet and bassoon and bari sax. So you'll often be playing those parts, and you'll probably be like further in the back, because it would look a little ridiculous if you were like up in the front near the second row, because you'll probably be blocking some people's view of the conductor or whatever. And then if you're reading music or something like here, and you're looking at it, you're gonna have to have your stand all the way up. And when you're playing something like a low A or something, your face is actually gonna vibrate, and the notes will look blurry. You'll just get used to it. and you'll get used to reading music like that. It's just how it is, and it's pretty fun. What else? Guess I could show you some cool tips, I guess. If you ever needed like trill between the throat B flat and the B, you can actually use your like really low fifth pinky key, the bottom E flat, and you'll get a pretty okay sounding B flat. So instead of doing like, you could go. Yep. And then like, you can screech with this thing. So it's kind of just like a controlled squeak. So if you take like a bottom note that like, I don't know, an F, and then you go, you'll get like really cool sound. Yeah, and you could just do that with all the notes. Yeah, just like go crazy, you know? Since showed you most of the stuff you need to know, I don't want to play you something. Okay, so now that you're done playing, you might gonna take this off and then just pull it out. It's probably gonna be sopping wet. I'm just not gonna lie, that's just part of it. Just like a lot of water, and that's just how it is. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna go back to your case. Gently put this back on the floor. I'll open it back up, and you kind of just disassemble it in reverse order. We just pop a squat, take that bell off, put it back, and then if you have like a flute swab or something, you might want to like get that moisture from the neck out of there because it's gonna stink if you don't. Yeah. So after you swab it out, just like put it back in there. There you go. And then you take off your reed. Wipe off any excess moisture. Put it back in its case. And you just like get that water out. Maybe use like saxophone swab or something that's big enough to get the water out of this thing. I just like to like get that water out. Put the neck, after you swab it, put the neck back where it belongs. And then put that cap back on. I'm gonna show you something. Come here. So once you put the thing down, right? Go open it back up. Open this back up. Now I put like foam and cardboard here because things like to get jumbled around and that's not great. So I just do that, right? And then my reeds just like toss them in there. They'll be fine. And then remember that when you put this back down, you're gonna wanna put that like clip on because otherwise when you go to like lift it, it's gonna just, that mouthpiece is gonna fall all the way down and probably get damaged or something. So remember to close this thing, all right? All right, say you just swabbed it or something. I'm gonna swab it later. Just for example, you're gonna close it. But if you don't have a swab, you can just like leave it here and let it dry. Like, all right, once you're done, like once it's all dry and stuff, and you need to move it back to where it goes, close the case, right? Close all 5 of these locks. And what I like to do to move it is I'll like hold this handle, tilt it a little bit, then I'll grab underneath the case and just like forklift it. And then you can go wherever you need. Set it down like somewhere, I don't know, so that it doesn't take up too much space because this isn't gonna fit in a locker. Yeah. Alright, that's all you need to know. Peace.